Okay, so the two presidents, South African president and President Trump, come together in the Oval, have a conversation about what's going on with these South Afrikaners, the white Afrikaners. And oh my goodness, I mean, the reactions are quite priceless to me, from the Black Americans on the left to what the South African president actually had to say after calling us cowards. It's quite fascinating, you guys. I have a whole sea full of opinions, but I just kind of want to try to keep this short and get to the point because it's quite ridiculous. All these things are happening, just quite ridiculous. Welcome back to another episode of Archie's Briefings. I'm your host, Arshel Branch. Like I said, we're talking about what happened in the conversation between President Trump and the president of South Africa, whose last name I cannot pronounce and don't care to pronounce because, well, I find him to be a communist who supports murder. That's just what it is. Let's go ahead and let's talk about it, shall we?
There is something that has been on my heart that I did want to discuss. Discipline is a huge part of being productive, being lucrative. I'm not for anything that goes against true productivity, true sovereignty of the individual. The choices that we make are what's going to be up for judgment.
All right, guys. So as I said in the open, we are going to talk about what went down between two of the presidents, our president, President Donald J. Trump, and the South African president, like I said, whose name I cannot pronounce. But if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way you never miss an episode. Share this video, like this video, definitely get in the comments about all of it because it is fascinating and I've got some strong opinions. Now, I don't want this episode to be too long, so let's just dive right into it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to show you guys today is a Don Lemon clip. You probably have already seen it. A lot of other conservatives are talking about it, but now that the South African president is actually here, I think it's fair to kind of, look at the comments. It's just really important. Let's just go ahead and let's just start with the Don Lemon clip because I found it to be quite astounding. And you know what we say as conservatives, that people use the words like racism and discrimination so easily that it loses effect and meaning. But here you have Don Lemon actually being discriminatory, actually being racist. These words have lost some meaning. However, here you have it full-fledged, okay, coming from Don Lemon. So let's go ahead and let's run that clip for you guys, shall we? All right, guys, so this is the clip here. There's a couple of parts in this that I do want to discuss. I'm going to try to keep it as quick as possible because I don't really want to take too much time on this episode, but just fascinating. So let's go ahead and let's run it, shall we? And then I'll pause and play as we go. Let's go ahead and let's do that.
I think this is a window into who Donald Trump really is, who he has always been, and who he thinks America belongs to. So let's break it down. First things first. Who is he talking about when he says South African farmers? Exactly who's he talking about? Let's not be coy here. He's not talking about the Black folks who have tilled their country's soil for centuries, who were shoved into townships under apartheid, who watched their land get snatched by colonial settlers and never given back. He's not talking about those folks. No. He's talking about white Afrikaner farmers.
Okay, I'm going to, before I let him go on with that whole long-winded bit that he just did there. Oh no, he's not talking about the Black Afrikaner. He's not talking about the Black Africans who are descendants of those who were treated like trash, who suffered the injustices during the colonial times. So he's talking about the white South Africans, okay, who are the descendants of the oppressors. I mean, he's acknowledging that this happened centuries ago. He's acknowledging that we're talking about descendants of said oppressors and oppressed. That's what he's talking about. He acknowledges this. It's just, it doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter that he's talking about something that took place in the 1600s, something that took place centuries ago. Doesn't matter to him, okay? He does not care. He does not care that this is centuries ago. But, hey, it's just nonsense. Let him go on.
Descendants of Dutch and British colonizers who held on to massive estates since the 1600s. These are the folks he is shedding tears for, claiming that they are victims of some grand injustice.
Well,
he's pointing to South Africa's new land reform push, the Expropriation Act, signed into law just last year, which lets the government take land without compensation if the property is not being used and there is no intention to either develop or make money from it. Now,
okay. Look at what he just said. How nonchalant he said that. He's talking about, he says that we should cry, he's crying over these white Africans and that there's a major injustice. And he's talking about this particular policy that allows the government to seize the land. That we shouldn't be concerned about these individuals because their government is going to seize their land. I mean, you say it like this isn't something to be worried about. Like this isn't something that we should be concerned about. I'm trying to understand your logic, Don. Why do you think that we shouldn't be concerned for individuals whose freedoms are being violated, whose land is being taken from them? And what are we saying? Oh, well, because their ancestors took it first. that this should be okay, that because their ancestors might have been violent and took the land, that it's okay that they have this type of injustice happen to them. This is a perfect example of vengeance, not equality, okay? And they're only talking about land that's not being farmed and used. It's absolutely outrageous. I'm going to let them go on before I keep it up. Let's just let it go on for a little bit longer. I know, bear with me, just a little bit longer.
Trump is framing this like it is a targeted assault, a racist plot to strip white farmers of their livelihoods. He's even hinting at violence.
They're getting
beheaded. These far-right conspiracies about white genocide that have been bouncing around social media, Twitter for years. But let's get the context straight, because Trump certainly won't get the context straight. South Africa's history isn't a mystery. It is a wound. Apartheid didn't just...
I can't even go. He's just like, with the whole white conspiracy. I'm ready to go. You guys, Don is annoying the crap out of me. He annoys me. He really just annoys me. Okay. You're not masculine at all. I got some really bad words, but I'm not going to say them here. They're just not great to say. Not here, at least. You guys know how I feel about Don Lemon. Far right conspiracies. Are you kidding me? How many times have we been right? You were right about the fraudulent election back in 2020 with your pushing of propaganda saying that Joe Biden was fit. He clearly was not. Don't tell me that we have a conspiracy theory about white Africans getting their heads chopped off for being white and owning land. They make up 15% of the population in that country, and parts of them, they're getting beheaded. Yes, there is a violent injustice taking place that the government is clearly supporting. All right, guys, so you saw that. Now, let me just be quick before I show you guys the other clip. Why is that a problem for me? Like, why was that so important to show about Don Lemon? Because obviously we have Black Americans saying that they want reparations. Of course they want reparations. They love this. Black wokesters, Black lefties, they love that the African government, the South African government, is taking the land of white people. They love the idea of taking the wealth of other groups to be given to them without having worked for it. Okay, they love it. They are for it. They are for the injustice. Slavery was only wrong of yesteryear because it happened to Black people. But they would like to exact that same kind of, so-called social justice on to white Americans. And that's why I think they love it. Don Lemon doesn't like the fact that white Africans have the opportunity to flee from said violence, because what Blacks may not have had the same opportunity to flee from the oppression of the United States back at its founding. They did have the place to go. They didn't have a government that was willing to save them. And this is the nonsense here. Maybe you just don't like the fact that they have an opportunity that our ancestors may not have, outside of, siding with the British in the American Revolution. We know that part of our history, but let's stop pretending that we don't know what's going on. You just don't like the fact that President Trump is willing to give freedom and safety to those who are actually in need of it. Let's go ahead and let's bring up the clip with the two presidents. Because, the president of South Africa called the U.S. cowards for wanting to allow these refugees to come into the country. And, here he was in the meeting and he had very little to say. He could not defend himself. He looked like a guilty fool trying to run and hide in his little shirt, in his little, shell. And just found it fascinating. Let's go ahead and let's run that clip for you guys next, shall we? All right, guys. So this is the back and forth between the South African president, whose name I cannot pronounce, and President Donald J. Trump, talking about what's going on with the white Africans in his country. Now, this is after the video has been shown, where in it you're hearing, apparently, President Trump says government officials, talking about the killing of white Africans to take the land, and now he supports this, right? Now, it's not so much the president saying this, because he looked like, where did you get the video from? You could see him looking at his team, trying to figure out where he got this footage from. I mean, our president is, very equipped when he sits down and has these conversations with world leaders. He's prepared, and let's just let it rock. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's do that, shall we?
Reaction to those videos, President Trump. Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you.
Okay, so you just heard President Trump say that he knows people who are trying to get out of South Africa, that, this is what's happening. The land's being seized. People don't feel safe, that this is what's happening to white Africans, and that the government officials are the ones out here advocating for this. And now this is the president of South Africa trying to, explain what's really going on there. Let's let it run.
Let
And
me
it was
clarify that.
terrible. Yeah.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being
Referring
made,
to the video.
one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely
It's like he's just lying.
against what
He's just lying. He's just lying. No, guys, you just heard Don Lemon say that their policy is to take the land from white Africans. Okay, you just heard him say that. That's Don Lemon. Okay, this guy's got no reason to try to make the South African president look bad. South African president is lying. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, you are a fibber. You're fibbing. You're fibbing your behind off, man. That's what's happening, Mr. President. You are fibbing. Our Mr. President, you know he's fibbing. Like, you just know. Let it go on.
small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do
Which-
allow them to take
the
land.
No.
You do allow them to take
No,
land.
nobody can
And then
take
when they
land.
take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No,
Okay, so you see that? He's just fibbing. You got caught in a lie. Just own it. You want to tell us what's really going on? Your government supports taking the land. Okay. He wants to bring up Nelson Mandela as we go forward in this whole back and forth. And it's like, I'm not talking about Nelson Mandela. I'm not talking about what happened however many centuries ago. What's happening right now is that your government is supporting the violence and the injustice against white Africans, against white people. That's what's happening. That's what your government supports. And I'm going to get to this last part, you guys. There's a part in this that I really want you guys to see, because it is the part that really irked me. Out of all this, it really irked me the most. So I'm going to fast forward to that part, because you guys, that's the part that really did it for me. Let's just fast forward to that, shall we? All right, guys. Now, I'm assuming that anybody who's watching this particular video, you guys have already seen this back and forth between the presidents. Now, he goes on to talk about how there was a lot of crime, that the crime isn't just happening to the white Afrikaners in Africa, that there is other crime, and the majority of those who are suffering from said crime are the black Africans, which not good, but regular. We're not talking about that. We're talking about vengeful crime, okay? The ones that say we're going to take your land and chop your head off because you're white, and we blame you for everything that happened centuries ago, back in the 1600s. That kind of crime is this kind of special kind of crime. It's a significant kind of crime. And the thing that he says here really just irked me, so let's just run it, okay? Because that's going to take us into my opinions as it relates to any kind of immigration, well, particularly legal immigration. So let's go ahead and let's let him speak his piece, and then I'll go on to that. Let's do that.
because there is support that we can get from you as the United States to help us deal with all these
That's
acts
it right
of
there, right?
criminality. And that is what I believe partnership is all about. And we are here
No.
as a partner so that we can help each
Where's
other
Trump's face? Where's Mr.
whenever
President?
there are
Where's Trump?
challenges.
Where's
So I'd
Where's
like
his
us to
face?
discuss it,
here we
and of
go.
course,
Here we go.
outside.
You guys saw his face, Trump's face. Oh, you want something from me. Of course you want something. Oh, you want me to fix your problems. That was Trump's whole eye roll, head eye roll. Right. I don't want to go to your country and fix your problems. I don't want to go to your country and fix your crime. That's your problem. That's your problem. You deal with it. Okay? You deal with it. Look, that's what partners are supposed to do. Partners are supposed to work together to solve each other's problems. I'm not asking for any other country to come in here to solve our problems. We are going to solve them ourselves. Why do you think you get to come in here and ask us, oh, no, that's what a partnership is. We are asking you for the support. Are you looking for USAID? You looking for that USAID? You looking for USAID? That's what you're looking for. Money that's going to help solve your crime problem. That's what you just want, our money. You just want tax dollars. Understand, if we go in there, let's just call it spade, because I got an issue with, imperialism here. And our country is an empire. And I love our president. I love what this administration is doing. But let's stop pretending that this would not be in the interest of the military-industrial complex. The second you open the door for our military to go into your country, the second you open the door for our government to go into your country to solve whatever problems you might have, gives us the opportunity to bankrupt you, to take up your property, to take up your land, and you'd find yourself in another whole situation ready to chop heads off, only this time with Americans, which would not be in your best interest. Like, why would you even open the door to that? I'm going to come out of this, you guys, and I'm going to tell you my opinions on what my issues are with this guy's statement and this whole issue that we have. Let's just go ahead and let's do that and sum this up, shall we? All right, guys, so you saw that. You saw what Don Lemon had to say. It's just racist. It was racist. I mean, come on. These words have meaning, and he was just being racist. I don't want the refugees to come in here from South Africa because they're white. He doesn't like the fact that we're giving them a place to run to because they're being persecuted because of their race. Okay? They're being held accountable for something that they had no control over, something that they didn't even do, something that took place back in the hundreds. Like, count the centuries, Don. I'm gonna need you. And this is the sentiment, I believe, of the black left. Okay, they're okay with it. They like the idea of reparations. We've had these debates. You've had them. I've had them. We've gotten to the comment sections. I've had these debates in real life, in the YouTube comments, all over Twitter. I've had these debates. People support reparations. They support treating white Americans like trash. They support any kind of theft. They support theft. They support it because if it means punishing white Americans or punishing white Africans for actions that took place centuries ago, then they're for it. And that's the sentiment of the Don Lemon types, the black woke, if you will. Now, let's talk about the problem with immigration. Let's talk about that, okay? I would like to not have anybody come into this country. I would like to have no type of immigration. I don't care if they're white Africans. I don't care if they're Ukrainian, Russian, Jewish, from the war in the Middle East. I don't care what the suffering is. I would rather not have them come here. However, I have a heart. I'm a human. I'm empathic. I'm a Christian. Of course, I want people to be safe. And these individuals are hurting. They're suffering. And so if we can give them some kind of peace and freedom and justice and safety for them and their children, especially the children, the babies, like, yeah, I totally get it. Personally, I would like for the South African president to get his country together, get your crime in order, stop treating the white Africans like they are second-class citizens, don't take their land, don't support the beheading and the killing of their people, of your own people. Like, we say their people like they're not South African. It's like when you have black Americans in America calling only black people your people. No, my people are American. This separation, this division, okay? We're sitting here dividing ourselves by race, by gender, and the enemy, the devil, is just getting away. He's just laughing at us all. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, why are you dividing yourself? These white Africans are your people too, Mr. President. You should be trying to protect them, keeping them safe, doing what's right for them. That's what our president is doing. He's looking after all Americans, trying to keep all Americans safe, even the ones that don't like him. You could just not allow the government to take the land. You are the president. I would like for these countries to get their act together so people would stop wanting to come here. I don't want nobody coming here. But they come because they're afraid for their lives. They come because their nations are riddled with war and injustice. You see that even with the British. My goodness. President Trump said he would give refugees. He would allow British refugees because of how crazy the government in Britain has gotten. I don't want any immigrants coming in, period. Fix your damn countries. Stop trying to come here. They come because we're free. We got our problems, obviously, but they come here because we're free. They come here because we got something going here. We got a president who's willing to stand by the Constitution. We got a president who's willing to defend our civil liberties, and they come here because they know that. And if these countries would just get their act together, then we wouldn't be in the situation that we are. You guys get in the comment sections. Let me know what you think about this. I mean, people are going to say that I was being harsh about this, that I should support immigration. No, sorry. I looked at the 2017 study, and it says that the majority population is on the way to being the minority. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. And it's certainly not because the OG minorities are going to become the majority. I don't like it. So I would like to just slow down or stop any kind of immigration. Very much on Ann Coulter's side with this. It's not just illegal immigration that's got to stop. It's legal immigration until we do something about protecting our way of life, our culture. And that's clearly going to be harder to do because these other countries just don't want to respect human rights. I got an issue with that. And now the South African president wants to ask for us to help him, which we already know why President Trump had the head roll and the eye roll. You want money from us? No. Just no. You guys get in the comments. Let me know what you think about this whole thing because that was fascinating, interesting. It definitely needed to be discussed. So you guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss an episode. Like this video, share this video because I'm curious to see what other people have to think about this whole situation. It's quite fascinating. It really is fascinating. And yeah, people are going to say that I'm being ridiculous when I say I don't want immigration, but I understand it because the world has gone amok. So yeah. I'd like to shut down immigration, but the world's gone amok. Like, it's just crazy. The world's gone crazy. Just absolutely crazy. And here in America, we got a sane president who was like, yeah, I'm throwing away the key for anybody who thinks they're going to kill police officers. Okay. I'm locking up the people who are going to be discriminatory towards Jews, towards the Palestinians, towards blacks, towards whites. I don't care about your anti-Semitism. I don't care if you are Islamophobic. I don't care if you are racist towards whites or blacks. If you are going to be a problem, your ass is getting arrested. Excuse my French. And that's why I love this administration. He doesn't care what your background is. If you're going to be a problem, you're going to get arrested. Doesn't matter your title. Doesn't matter your background. You break laws, you get got. I love that. So again, share this video, like this video, get in the comments. Love you guys. I shall talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. God bless and Kepla.